Robin Williams, face with many persona. Motormouth radio jockey, finding humor at the time of adversity. English teacher inspiring students to follow their passion. Father dressed as nanny to spend time with his children. Psychiatrist helping a genius to get in touch with his emotions. Discovering the inner child as Peter Pan. Going on an adventure of a lifetime while playing Jumanji. Doctor using humor and compassion to treat his patients. Entering everyone's heart as the larger-than-life genie. A man who had to fight his inner demons behind closed doors. Entertained millions during his lifetime and still does. He remains one of the most loved and adored celebrity of all time. He was, first of all, an immensely talented stand-up comedian. His jokes and stories included the current affairs. He was not oblivious of the stereotypes, stigma and sensitive elements in every culture. Man fortunate to have walked at the time when the term cancel culture did not exist. So he used all that to humor the audience. But other comedians have this style of comedy too. What sets him apart from the other comedians was his abundant energy and the joy he showed on the stage. He delivered jokes like an old drunken uncle would in a family reunion, telling everyone about funny incidents or observations he just witnessed. When he was telling jokes, he always had a big grin on his face. When he said something, it never felt offensive. On stage, he was your friend and not an artist. He was never uncomfortable on stage. He had this need to connecting with others. He loved his moment on the stage and it showed. He loved his audience. He was the master of improvisation and could create characters on the spot of the moment. It was as if he could find his source of material out of thin air. There was an instance during 15th anniversary of Comedy Store. An audience sitting in front row was overly excited to see him. Robin Williams strayed away from his materials, observed the guy and manufactured his jokes around him. Such was his presence that often on talk shows the hosts used to forget to ask him questions.
But the question is... Yes.
We'll see if you can get to it by the end. The question is...
He would often explode of exuberance and take over the show. The shows would cease to be a talk show and transform into Robin Williams' stand-up act. He even lit up the award ceremonies. On the day, Daniel Day-Lewis and Jack Nicholson accepting Critics' Choice Award and Robin Williams' funny gate-crashing moment will always be remembered. This was not limited to on camera. Even off camera, many of his co-workers tell stories of how he entertained them in spare times and made them feel at ease. Out of many instances, most notable ones were when Ethan Hawke was only 19, when he appeared in Dead Poets Society. Williams was incredibly funny, relaxed and inventive and improvised constantly on set. The more the crew laughed, the more he performed. But Hawke wanted to be in character, so didn't laugh at him. Williams really teased him about it. And Hawke thought Williams hated him. But Williams didn't hate Hawke at all. After the movie, Williams' agent reached out to Hawke asking to represent him. Williams passed along word that Hawke was going to be someone someday. Another famous story when Robin Williams had a very limited schedule when recording for the genie in Aladdin. He was only in the studio for a limited session. But when the recording started, he let it all out. He went off script, improvised and gave so much material that the studio was spoiled by choice. They considered him a very generous performer. During the shoot of Jumanji, Robin Williams made the child actors feel comfortable while shooting. Robin Williams would often come in and he would sit in the makeup trailer and keep Bradley Pierce company. Bradley said it was part of Williams' nature to be generous, kind and caring, and there were very few actors who would go out of their way in the way he did. If you go on internet, you will find countless stories of general people sharing wonderful experience of meeting him. Like when he gave toys to all the children in the hospital during Christmas, literally hiding from the press because he did not want it to turn into a huge media event. Being patient when meeting fans, quoting lines, doing voices, making jokes, and making faces to bring smile to strangers. He had a gift of making a person feel like they are the most important person in the world. From 4 to 80 years, everyone was his audience. He was a people's person. He was Robin Williams, the funny man, 24/7 for others. But his personal life was afflicted by addiction, anxiety, and depression. Even though he was tagged as a comedian, he was a serious actor. He would often channel his emotions through some of his iconic characters. Terry Gilliam, director of The Fisher King, recalled how Williams pushed himself to the limits while filming an extended vision sequence. Williams was tearing his guts out emotionally. The interesting thing about Robin in all those scenes was that he was always wanted to do another take. He felt he had even more anguish and pain to spill out of the character. He was a down-to-earth person and utter professional. The director of Good Will Hunting said Williams made everyone laugh on the sets, but when he was asked to start working again, Williams got back to his character without hesitation. Robin Williams lived through his work, lived through the several characters he played and created. Only few actors excel in more than one profession like he did, and even very few go on to become icon, legend, and an act everyone wished to replicate. There cannot be another Robin Williams. He has touched so many lives through his craft that upon his passing, everyone felt as if a family member has left them. His daughter Zelda Williams rightly said, "World is forever a little darker, less colorful, and less full of laughter in his absence."
Thank you, boys.